Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, my name is Fernando Akustika. You can call me Nando. In this video, I will review about the drama script. The title is The Zoo Story by Edward Albee. Before we go to the topic, I will tell you about the short biography about the Edward Albee. Okay. Edward Albee was a renowned American playwright who is widely considered one of the most important and influential writers of the 20th century. He was born in Washington, D.C. and was adopted at a young age by wealthy parents who owned a chain of theaters. He began writing plays in the late 1950s, and his breakthrough came with the production of The Zoo Story in 1959. Over the course of his career, Albee wrote over 30 plays, including such notable work as Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, A Delicate Balance, and Three Tall Women. He was known for his use of language. His explorations of themes such as identity, power, and social inequality, and his willingness to push the boundaries of conventional center. And Albee received numerous awards and honors over the course of his career, including 3 Pulitzer Prizes for Drama, a Tony Award for Lifetime Achievement, and the National Medal of Arts. He was also a dedicated advocate for LGBTQ rights and was open about his own homosexuality. And Edward Albee passed away in 2016 at the age of 88, leaving behind a legacy as one of the most important and innovative playwrights of his generations. Okay, that's that is a short biography from Edward Albee. And, and next we go to the next topic is the character. So the character in this drama is just have two roles or two characters. The first character is Jerry. Jerry is a working class man who lives alone in a rooming house and spends much of his time observing the animals at the zoo. He is desperate for human connection and is willing to go to great lengths to establish a meaningful relationship with someone. So Jerry is portrayed as a complex individual who can be both friendly and outgoing, as well as aggressive and confrontational. So the Jerry's behavior is the result of a lifetime of isolation and marginalization, and he is acutely aware of the power dynamics that exist within the human relationships. Okay, so uh, through his interactions with Peter, Jerry forced him to confront his own privilege and the ways in which his social and economic status insulates him from the struggles of those less fortunate. Okay, and that is Jerry. And the second character is Peter. Peter, on the other hand, is a middle-class publishing executive who initially rejects Jerry's attempts to engage with him. He represents the comfortable middle-class existence and is content to maintain the status. Peter is portrayed as a more reserved and introspective character than Jerry, and it is only through his interaction with Jerry that he is forced to confront the limitation of his own worldview. As the play progresses, Peter becomes increasingly uncomfortable with Jerry's behavior, and the tension between the two men ultimately leads to a violent confrontations. Okay, that is the characterizations into characters. Okay, so let's move to the dim. Okay, so the main themes of the Zoo story by Edward Albee is the human need for connection and the struggle to find meaning and purpose in a world that can be isolating and alienating. The play explores the tension between social and economic classes and the power dynamics that exist within human relationships. Throughout the characters of Peter and Jerry, Albee examines the different ways in which people seek to establish connections with other and consequence of these efforts. Peter, who represents the middle class, initially rejects Jerry's attempts to engage with him and retreats into the safety of his privileged existence. Jerry, on the other hand, is desperate for human connection and is willing to risk everything in order to make a meaningful connection with someone. His aggression and desperation are the result of a lifetime of isolation and marginalizations, and his struggle to find a place in the world is a powerful commentary on the way in which social and economic inequality can shape the human experience. Yeah, that is the DM. And next, the topic is the settings. The setting of the zoo story is primarily a bench in Central Park, located in the Upper West Side of New York City. The bench is situated near the entrance to the Central Park Zoo, and much of the action of the play takes place here. The surrounding area is a typical urban park setting, with trees, shrubs, and other greenery. The sounds of the city can be heard in the background, including traffic, sirens, and the occasional chatter of passersby. And you go to the next topic is the plot summary. So the Zoo Story is a one-act play by Edward Albee that tells the story of two strangers, Peter and Jerry, who meet on a bench in Central Park. The play opens with a Peter reading a book on the bench when Jerry approaches him and strikes up a conversation. As the conversation progresses, Jerry becomes increasingly agitated and confrontational, revealing more and more personal information about himself. He talks about his experience at the zoo, where he has been studying at the behavior of animals and thinking about the nature of existence. Despite Peter's attempts to remain polite and detached, Jerry becomes more and more aggressive, eventually revealing his desire to fight Peter. The two men engage in a physical struggle during which Jerry reveals his deep sense of loneliness and isolation. The climax of the play occurs when Jerry impales himself on a knife he has been carrying. Peter is left to contemplate the meaning of Jerry's life and death, and the implications of their interaction for his own life and the larger society in which he lives. And that's all of the plot summary. And we go to the next and the last topic is the problem or the issues. So one of the main issues explored in the zoo story is the theme of social isolation and the struggle for human connection in contemporary society. The play highlights the difficulty of establishing meaningful relationships in a society that is often characterized by alienations and a lack of authentic communications. Another issue that is explored in the play is the tension between nature and civilizations, as seen through Jerry's fascinations with the animals at the zoo and his desire to connect with the primal aspect of human nature. This theme is closely related to the idea of social isolations, as Jerry's desire for connections with nature and other living being is ultimately driven by a profound sense of loneliness and alienations. So, overall, this story raises important questions about the nature of human connections, the role of power and privilege in shaping human interactions, and the struggle for meaning and the purpose in the contemporary society. Yeah, that's all of the issues and that's all of it. Okay, and it's all my reviews dramas about this story. And thanks for watching and thank you for being you.